This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. My name is James Strong. This is the SIG Networking Ingress NGINX subproject meeting for March 16th, which means it is a CNCF meeting and it adheres to the CNCF Code of Conduct. If you have any issues, please report those to myself or to Ricardo or to the SIG Networking chair. So today we're going to recap what we've done. Let me go ahead and recap the issues. I think the big thing we're going to review today is Ashan's going to do a demo of the open telemetry, and we're going to go through our normal cadence with the meeting. Since there's only several of us, I don't see any new members, so we'll go ahead. I can already say before we go look at the action items, I had a work meeting, a work summit, and I've only been focusing on trying to get the new images updated with the CVEs. So none of the action items that are on the last meeting, I know I haven't intended to, and Ricardo is not here. So the only one we're going to probably do is the demo. So we need to, again, this is why I put it on the list, is to hold us a little bit more accountable. And it's doing exactly that. So hopefully our next meeting, I've had at least check some of these old action items off. With that, it is, yeah, it's 3:16. Okay, I thought I was looking at the wrong one. Sorry, folks. So Ashan, I think we'll, before we talk about the new release and the issues we're having with the release, I think we'll have some fun and just let you take over and record. And go from there. Sound good?
Yeah, thanks.
I'll stop sharing.
I start sharing my whole screen.
I see visual.
You do see my screen? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so to enable, we have to do two things. One is to have this open telemetry enabled in values YAML, and the other thing is we have to add some options to the config map, controller config map, and the most important ones are this one, this collector, host, and port. For demo, I will use OpenTelemetry collector, but anything that accepts gRPC, OTLP, gRPC should work. I've tried it with Jaeger and Grafana.
Okay.
And some other options that these are all documented in another PR for documentation. Once it's done, I have an app that I can just, so I have a demo app that is behind Ingress, and I just make a curl call to that. It does nothing. It just returns some hello NGINX. That's it. And then we can see the traces in Jaeger. Just look for new ones. So this one comes from the module, OpenTelemetry module, and it has these attributes, tags, and so on. And these are the other ones are from my demo app. So I can actually have this in Grafana if I can run a query. So basically we can have these traces anywhere that accepts OTLP gRPC, and the demo app is here. So we have the Ingress NGINX with OpenTelemetry module. This module sends tracing data to a collector, and the app has just two microservices. They talk to each other, and only the first one is exposed via Ingress NGINX. and they send their own spans tracing data to the collector, and then the collector sends them to Tempo of Grafana and Jaeger and Zipkin. And of these, we can remove this collector and directly talk to Tempo and Jaeger. But for Zipkin, we need the collector.
Is it documented?
You mean I think I've documented that anything that accepts this OTLP gRPC should work.
No, I mean, so just add a sentence that for Tempo Grafana or Jaeger, you don't need collector.
Yeah, I think I have done that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. That
So
was,
if I'm using Jaeger or Zipkin now with the modules that we have built into the NGINX, if I needed to do a migration, do we have a migration path upgraded? Or do we have a migration path for folks to use this new telemetry module?
so this is, it had to be, so the old user, they had to use open tracing.
Okay.
And then we are different from open tracing. So yeah, they have to do something for the migration, which means they have to change this config map plus the values YAML.
Okay.
And yeah, for Jaeger should be, I mean, they don't need collector for the Jaeger because Jaeger accepts this OTLP gRPC.
So we probably, because I know one of the asks has been to remove the Jaeger code that we build into our NGINX modules, or the NGINX base image. So that would be a breaking change, right? So we'd probably want to bump things to like a 2.0 if we're removing those modules and forcing folks to use the open telemetry module. Okay.
Yeah, but maybe we can reuse their options in the code, but I don't know if that's the right way to do it.
No.
Yeah.
It'll be too messy.
It will be too messy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just wondering because the idea is that we're trying to reduce the software that's built into our NGINX base image and the controller. So that's something we can think about. So we can get the documentation PR accepted. I think we've already got all the modules already there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we just need to get the documentation out there.
Yeah, sorry, the integration part is not there. So
The integration PR has not been put out yet.
It's the main, this one. This PR has to be merged.
Okay. So merge that PR and the documentation PR.
Yeah.
And this isn't a breaking change. This is just additional features. We're not removing anything yet.
Yeah, we're not removing anything.
Okay. So we can put this out there. And then we can start having a discussion about asking people to move towards using this module.
Yeah.
And then once we actually do remove it, that's a breaking change. We'll bump the chart. Unfortunately, there's no way for us to know who is using any of this functionality. We'll have to put a notice out somewhere on the thoughts and the timeline. But okay. Yeah, it looks like it's working. I've not tested it out. I mean, I've not done anything with our open tracing one either, but it looks pretty slick. So thank you for demoing that. And Long, I think, did you have a question?
For testing, if someone tries to test it, they have to build this NGINX image first, and then add those options. Change the option for values YAML and add these to the config map. This is also documented in the PR.
Gotcha. Yeah. Because go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Please go ahead.
No, if we want to get this in the 1.6.5, or I'm thinking we're going to do 1.7 because we're bumping Golang and we're updating Alpine. And I know there's probably some other features in there. And I don't want folks automatically rolling this out. So I think I'm going to go with 1.7.0. And if we add this feature, I think that also helps justify the 1.7.0. I just don't want folks automatically rolling out all of these new builds. So unless anyone else disagrees or has an argument against going to 1.6.5, but we've seen that folks do automatic rollouts of patch releases. And even though we are doing patch releases both on Alpine and Golang, those are big changes.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense, yeah.
Okay.
But based on the timeline, if you bump OpenSSL as well, then it's like double makes sense.
Yeah, there is a new OpenSSL release, patch release 3.1. It's not trickled down into Alpine main yet, so there's that one as well. Okay, awesome, cool. Ishan, anything else you wanted to show us?
No, that was it.
Ishan, just a quick question: that make build and make image, is it a controller image?
Yeah, this is the controller. If somebody tries to test my example, then they have to follow this.
No, I think you can keep it. We don't want it out in the public, right? I think you can keep it as a dev test in some subdirectory, but don't put it in main README. Then they'll ask for support, and we don't want people building controllers and asking for support. Right?
It's going to be built into the controller. That's what the PR is, right?
The PR is for controller, but the example is in documentation, but it's not, the code will not be in the main repo. It's just, how to say, I've done it the same way as it's done for open tracing. So open tracing documentation says that you could go to some example that is hosted by someone else. So I did the same for open telemetry.
Well, there's a doc PR as well, right?
Yeah, that's a separate PR. I mean, I can remove it from that PR if
No, it's fine.
if there's an objection for now.
We'll just get them both accepted. I know Ricardo said he was going to do a review, but if the image builds and it passes CI, we should be fine. And you just showed us that the demo works.
Yeah, and there is an end-to-end test also for this.
Okay, that's good. That was going to be my next question. Okay. Can you put the two PRs into the doc and underneath the action items in the image in the NGINX community meetings doc? Sorry guys, I'm like half awake.
Shall I stop my sharing?
Yeah, you're fine.
I just stopped it. Add it there.
While you're doing that, I'll open mine up. I think what 24. Long, let's review the issue triage and just go through some of the newer issues. And then we can discuss all of the issues with the CI that how I broke everything.
No, you didn't break anything. It was all false alarm, completely different problem.
Okay. I saw you commented on this one. I also commented, and
yeah,
I didn't actually add it. I wouldn't say it's a feature. We need new kinds. Is it important critical? I can never remember. or critical important.
Which PR should go under action items or?
Yeah, put it under action items because I'll look at it too. Close out the triage. I'll jump in there. All right. We really need to put an ask out there for, we need documentation on all of the client IP, preserve IP stuff. We get that question all the time. And I think we just need a doc that clarifies it for folks, because it's a combination of if you're using the proxy protocol or if you're not, and then how do you actually send those back. So this is probably another one of those issues.
So
You guys
half of them are, so at least this one, right? They basically coming with a very odd question, as in they're not compliant with the KEP, and they just try to apply the non-Kubernetes infrastructure idea. So this guy's got a HA proxy in front, right? And so while HA proxy can forward packets, he still wants to start headers and everything, and he's not configuring HA proxy for proxy protocol and stuff like that. And now if you see his latest question, his basic problem is that the IPs on which he can expose are IP addresses to which he cannot route. So yeah, we do need to have documentation, but on the other hand, how Ingress works, or how load balancer service type works and all that is completely out there. So this is how, if we have to deal with it, then we have to deal with documentation on many things. So yeah, we should make an effort.
It literally says it right there in the documentation.
Yeah.
So it works with, yeah, so it works with, yeah, I'm inclined to close this one.
Yeah, you see his question. He's saying that how do I route? So it means we have to teach him, like, he wants support on his infrastructure networking.
That's just how it works when it's cluster versus local.
Yeah.
And there's also docs as well. You'll see that I'm gonna have like 30. Where's it at? There it is. That's the internal. No, where's traffic? Cluster. I can't find it. And updating. Yeah.
So there is a user called BMV, and I've seen that what it does is often when there is issues like this, they're out of scope and all that, he sometimes takes interest and gives support and answers questions. But even he kind of walks away when people ask for answers to questions that are pure documentation. So if we want to be like diplomatic, or if we want to be not ruffling feathers, or if we want to be precise on support that we are providing, I think we should leave the issue open, let others answer, or whatever. And after we put links in there for documentation, or we should kind of start following two policies or two things that are already well defined properly. One is, if people don't give enough information about the environment and use case, then we should close the ticket and ask them to reopen after they have put in information. And in this case, if the questions are for basic infrastructure outside of Kubernetes and all that, like non-ingress related questions, then we should have this policy that we should give them documentation and then close the and tell them to
I
reopen.
don't know. I don't know about automatically closing tickets if they don't provide the information. Just ask. I know you're really good at that, and it is annoying, but we shouldn't just close the tickets if they don't have that information. So just ask for it. I am inclined to close this one with saying that this is how Ingress works, and if you don't have HA proxy configured to do that, then configure it to pass the information, and it only works with cluster local. That's just how Kubernetes networking works. So, but yeah, you can still comment on a closed ticket, so
Okay,
that's fine too. But I'll go ahead and use that one. Possibility to use SSL client fingerprint. What's the issue with this one? Is
So
there?
basically, instead of the certificate, he wants just the hash or whatever to be passed upstream.
He's probably trying to do mutual authentication.
Yeah, around those parts.
Proxy settings. Okay. So the snippet's there. Is it in the config? Did you ask him to add, drop the config?
No, because this is how to get fingerprint out of there automatically for the controller. It seemed like a feature, and I don't understand that part. So I just waited to know to work on it, like read and then answer back. There's actually another bug that seems quite relevant. We could talk about.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be interested to see what his NGINX config looks like, because if it's not setting that, then it should set it with this snippet. But this is a Lua variable. And I don't know how that's getting passed. So that's, I think, what the issue is here.
Yes, correct.
So I don't know how, unless that's just how it works in the NGINX config. When it parses the cert, it's just going to set this. But yeah, that's a Lua variable, I would think, because that's when we configure all of this. I'll add that and ask him to dump his NGINX config. We have that on the documentation page, don't we?
I don't know for the fingerprint. For the cert, yes. I don't know for the fingerprint.
No, I just want him to dump the NGINX config.
Yeah. Okay, that is there.
There it is. This one, right? Or do you can just have him dump it from the. Where's it at? Is it SIG-Network config? I think that's where it's at.
Yeah, it's the NGINX, nginx.conf. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Cool, I wasn't sure. Sorry guys, you're watching me type. I just don't want to add this to my, continue adding it to my backlog. We'll wait to see if he responds. All right. Kubernetes cluster should disable auto mounting API credentials. I'm guessing this is the var token. Yeah. It should automatically do that with the one of the which release? I can't remember which Kubernetes release does that automatically now. But it shouldn't be doing that.
Our chroot image does that. Makes it inaccessible. You can't completely disable auto mounting, otherwise how it will work? I mean, I don't know. I think it will not work, but our chroot image makes it secure enough not to be able to access that.
Yeah.
Only that much I know.
No, he's just asking if we can add this. This is one of those where I think the PR is easy enough to where someone could do this. But yeah, it's probably not there in the Helm chart YAML. In the pod spec. The pod spec's already. I'm confused on his ask. So we can just put it in the Helm chart. And it would automatically be put in the pod spec. So there's nothing that we just need to add it to the Helm chart.
I don't have much idea.
No, it's fine. It's just they need to add the value. This is a pretty straightforward PR that I think anyone could. I'll add the help wanted. I can accept the triage, but I'm going to put it on the backlog. But I also think that if Sunil wants it enough, he can also put in the PR. I don't want to add this statement. I'd gladly accept this PR. That's rude, right? But it is an ask. Is it area? Is it Helm? I can never remember all the labels. This is also a good first issue.
Can we?
What's up?
No, I just wanted to pick the next two issues that we discussed.
I was just going down the going down the line. Hey, look at that. I was right on all of the priorities. Sorry. You said we have got a couple you wanted to look at.
Yeah, 9745 is the first one.
9745.
So basically what's happening is, I'm surprised. What he's saying is that we can, in the options to configure the amount of traffic you can send to Canary, there are two parameters. One is what percentage you want to send, and there is another field called total, weight total. So he says if he chooses the minimum, which is 1, it has to be numeric. It doesn't allow fractional values there. Then that is too much. So he needs to send less than 1, maybe 0.5 and all that. And the field doesn't take fractional numbers. That is one thing. So if he increases the weight total parameter to 1000 and then uses int type 5 or 1, then that kind of meets his requirement, as because they have a very big volume of traffic coming. So they can achieve 0.5% only by setting the weight total to 1000, 10,000, stuff like that. And he's already put in a PR because that doesn't work. And I'm surprised.
This one, right? Or is this a different page? I thought these were the ones that were related.
Yeah, this one, correct. Yeah, this one. So in this, he already explains which small piece of code where it needs to change. And it seems that the design was to allow the fractional part and make the weight total value more than 100 and all that, but it was not implemented. There was intention that in future we will do that. So right now it's not there. So right now, whatever you do, it takes the weight total as 100, and the minimum you can set is 1. And if somebody's 1% is much more than they want to send to Canary, they have no choice. And he kind of explained everything and put in this view. The only problem is I don't know. I asked him for tests. He said I asked him to attend the meeting today also to explain. So he's going to write the tests in this week or coming week.
Yeah, I was looking at this week. There is an end-to-end test, but I don't think it goes down into the percentages, like the sub 1% that he was looking at. Because I was looking at the end-to-end tests for Canary.
Right. So there's a lot of mess going on with Canary. There's one more issue on Canary. I'm just not certain if his, how good his PR is, or if it needs something. So up to you. But it's important because he's done enough work and he's given the right information, so we know exactly what the problem is.
Yeah, sorry, I was looking for it. Because if he just adds a Canary test to make sure it's hitting his use case, I think we'd be fine.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it. There is one in here. But it was setting it to 100. Oh yeah, there's the Canary weight of 0. And then Canary weight of 100. So if he just adds, yeah, and then there's 1,000. I don't know if this one would hit his test case. I can ask.
Yeah, we can ask, but he's saying something very important. He's saying this doesn't work. 1,000 doesn't work at all. Because if you see his issue, he has actually given data about the test and the number of requests. So it's very clear that regardless of him specifying 1,000, it will always be 5% of the whole number percentage.
What was it in the test though? I guess if the test, does the test output
I didn't
what
check.
the percentage?
I didn't check.
The percentage of traffic. Yeah, I'll just ask.
Okay.
I'll ask if that test case hits his use case.
Yeah. just to repeat, right? He is kind of indirectly given information that relates to your this specific question, in the sense that he has done test with weight total set to 1,000 also and 10,000 also.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, the test cases are passing. I just want to make sure that what he's changed has a test case and it actually solves his problem. So if it solves his problem and when he adds the test case, or if that one does, because I'm like you, Long. I've not done any of the Canary deployments or looked into it. But if he adds a test case, or if it says that it passes his test case, then I think we should be fine to go.
Oh, right.
Long.
Got it. Now I understand what you're saying. Correct. I think you're absolutely correct on that.
Okay.
Okay. Now there's one more, 9734.
Let me go ahead and add did I comment on the issue and not the PR? Okay. That's fine. I commented on the PR.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. 9745.
9734.
34. This will be our last one too, and then we can start talking about the release.
Yeah.
What happened? Admission hook failures in 452. I've seen these in AWS. I'm betting it's security groups.
No. So the problem here is if you go down, he's given very clear data that on a cluster with lot of
this is the one that takes too long. Sorry. Yeah, I've read this one too.
the patch takes 10 seconds more, and he says that is not, it's a recent regression. He says some earlier version, this like 1.4 or something, that's not a problem. Only in the last couple of releases that's been a problem. You can actually see the difference between 10 seconds and 20 seconds is given very precise data when there is too many, or there's a large number of ingresses in the cluster.
Yeah, someone's gonna have to look at what image got pushed in 418 to what's in latest now, and see if there's any changes to the webhook. That's just gonna take someone's time.
Yeah.
To look into it. But I mean, I hate that this is the answer.
And it's very clear data. Yeah, it's very clear what is showing.
Yeah, I would agree it's a bug. Why is it set to done?
And this is important because even when you run test locally, E2E test, it's like they're taking too long now. Then they used to, I mean, the amount of time taken for failing tests or succeeding tests is like too much.
It's always taken about 45 minutes for our end-to-end tests. Are you talking about like individual tests?
Yeah, individual tests. Yeah, individual tests that's supposed to be done in 15-20 seconds is actually running into almost 40-50 seconds and so on.
Yeah. There's a lot of variables that go into that, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it on the backlog. You already accepted the triage. All right. We got 10 minutes. We did a lot more triage than I'd planned to, so sorry about that long. What do we need to do to get the CI stuff fixed and get that release out?
So let me change the story. As in, what has happened is the problem that we are facing with CI was because of bad images. So
Yeah.
right now, what's going on is we've started adding the new images one by one. And we out of the 6 or 7 new images, we have cleared out 4 images. Three are remaining. Soumya is working on it. So this is not a CI problem at all. It's basically a problem with bad image. So we need to pick which image to add to main now and which to exclude. So HTTP has been ruled out. Test runner image with the individual PR already into main. The new NGINX base image today morning Jinda upload. So that new NGINX base image already also in. So the remaining ones are Open Telemetry, CFSSL, and those ones. So I'm working with Soumya to check them one by one.
And this is because we don't have any testing on our images, right? Do we know why they broke? Because I mean, yes, I am the one who broke them. Because all I did was upgrade to Alpine 317 to...
No. You didn't break anything. You did everything on this. You didn't break anything. The problem is this. Each image has a different story. So the one image has the story that the app it runs, for example, that HTTP bin app, that is incompatible with all recent releases of all kinds of software, Go, Python, everything.
Oh. So we're back to that. So HTTP bin, okay.
So that's completely ruled out. We never ever are going to use a new image on HTTP bin. The other problem was CFSSL. Probably in the error when I'm running test locally, I'm finding errors. The first error that the failure, the test that it fails first is the TCP services test, and something to do around external name, and it points to an OCSP. So I will do more testing to know if the CFSSL image is worth upgrading or not. And then the small benign error about the Jinko CLI being wrong, that we fixed by putting in a dedicated PR only to update the test runner image. So now,
yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. So 3 of those 7 images taken care of. The rest, one by one, Soumya is looking at, and we'll have that sorted in maybe tomorrow.
Okay. Oh yeah, because it's late now, right?
Yeah, but also at this point of time, the remaining images are all optional. For example, Open Telemetry is optional, CFSSL is optional, HTTP errors is optional. So if we want to ignore these, if you want to ignore these and move ahead with the next release that you're thinking, the NGINX base image is already in place, the test runner is in place. So if you make a new release now, the controller will build with new patched Go 120 and 317 to Alpine.
Let me look if OpenSSL 3.1 gets released or is going to be released by tomorrow, because I can ask Ariadne since she's a coworker. If it's going to get released to community or main, then I'll release the new image, or at least kickstart the process for the build and everything. Because I don't want to have to go through the whole process again if 3.1 is going to get released soon. So we can wait on those images that you were just talking about. But yeah, I don't want to build a new controller if 3.1 is going to get released like the day after. So I'll hold off. I'll hold off to get it done until 3.1 is released and go from there.
Right.
I've also noticed that all of those dependencies are built into the NGINX base image.
Right.
So we're gonna have to rebuild NGINX again to get the 3.1 and then build the controller. So I'll just wait and see. I'll wait on 3.1. And then in that time frame, you guys will probably get all the other images fixed. So I'll let you and what's her name again? I'm sorry, I see it, but I don't.
Soumya.
Samya?
Yeah.
Samya. Okay. I'll let you two work on getting those images fixed. And then I'll just wait on 3.1 and then we'll have everything in there. And that also gives me time to look at the open telemetry and get it actually merged in. So we'll get open
Right.
telemetry in, we'll get open SSL 3.1, we'll
Right.
get Alpine 3.17.2 and Golang 120, and I'm gonna bump everything to 1.7.0.
Yeah. So specifically specifically if you want to bump the minor version to 1.7, it's a really prudent thought to wait until OpenSSL 3.1.
Sounds good. Awesome. Thanks everyone. And if I don't talk to you, I'll talk to you in Slack or see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Have a nice
Thanks.
one. Bye.
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 Bye.